here we are with season 2, episode 1 of Why Is Your Podcast on a Dead Girl's Phone? My name is Niles. I am so excited to start making these episodes again. It was a busy summer. People's schedules were all over the place, so I decided to take a break. And yeah, so here we are with episode 1 with Amirah Vann, who played the iconic Kaplan and Gold partner, Tegan Price. And it was so amazing sitting and talking with her. And yeah, I really wanted to start off season 2 with her. So yeah, I hope you guys love this episode. I hope you guys look forward to weekly episodes again every weekend, hopefully. And yeah, it was so amazing getting to sit down and talk with her. And I hope you guys enjoy it. She's so amazing. Thank you again, Amirah, for coming on and for your friendship. And yeah, it was amazing. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Here we go. I first wanted to congratulate you on the birth of your daughter.
Oh, thanks.
And for you and Patrick. Oh my God. It's in the background.
So Joy, I know he's here. He's in the room with her.
Oh,
Daddy time with her while I do this.
all your pictures are so cute. Oh my God.
He's a boy. It's wonderful having a child, and figuring out how to balance it with his business. And there's so many women now who are doing it, who are great examples of how to do it. Viola being one of them.
That's good. So awesome. Oh, tell Patrick I said hi.
I will.
And then second, thank you again for coming on and working with all my messages and with
it's a pleasure. Did you get some good questions?
I hope I usually go out and buy big packs of stack of post-it notes, and I have them all on my monitor stuck to my like a little teleprompter. So
that's smart. I love it.
The screen is full, so I hope we can get through all of them.
Let's see. We'll look. Ready to say, reach for the stars, land on the moon. Let's do it.
Yes. I kind of wanted to start off with growing up in Queens, and who was your biggest role model growing up, and what was like the best advice that they've given you that has like stuck with you?
To be honest, my biggest role models growing up in Queens were my mom and my sister. Those are the people that, that I saw every day. And those were the women in my life who were strong. And, and my dad passed when I was 9. Oh. So just kind of seeing my mom, I guess, I didn't have that wisdom then. You're a kid and you're just like.
Of what it's right. going through. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in it. So you don't have that wisdom. But I did have joy. I had a lot of joy. And she my mom made sure of that. She kept me busy and active. And so she was definitely a role model. And I just saw her work ethic. So I didn't know what I was seeing at that point. Yeah. But I modeled after that, So even though I didn't necessarily understand that I was modeling after that, that's she was, great. My sister was great. They constantly, I was blessed and very fortunate to have 2 people who were super supportive of just what I just was discovering, these little seedlings of talent, because I didn't know, and I was very much a collaborative kid. I'm very much a collaborative adult. So I was kind of just like, I don't know what I want to be. And then people were saying, hey, you seem good at this. And my family was like, well, we support you if it brings you joy. So they were just great mentors in the sense of like, reach for your goals and God will make a way. And everything is possible. They didn't put limits on me. And when I look back now, it's such an extraordinary gift in so many ways when anyone gives that to a young person. So they were wonderful. But those were my role models.
Your sister's older?
Yes, she's older.
Nice. Mm-hmm. And something to pass on to your daughter. Yeah, of course.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely now I think about that and I constantly think about the fact that I'm like, oh yeah, we really do what we see as well as what we hear. Mm-hmm. But it's great for me. It's such a great inspiration when you actually can really see it, like I have mentors that I just listen to even now. So I do believe that you can be inspired by someone, by hearing them. But with the people around you, in your circle, they're doing things and you see them kind of activate their power. Just really, that's inspiring. And so I want to be that for my daughter. And actually my friend Kelly from Grey's Anatomy, she's a good friend.
Yeah.
Yes, I was on the phone with her and feeling a little, had a little bit of mommy guilt about like, oh my God, like I'm trying to balance motherhood, but like I want to read this script or I want to start working on some projects. And she said, she just reminded me, which that's why you need your community. You know, she just said to me, she was like, Amirah, that is a part of your gift to her, is her
Oh,
seeking work. And I was just, as much as I knew it, sometimes you need to be reminded because you look at this little person and you're like, oh my God, I just want to do right by you and I want to give you my time and attention. But she just
okay.
reminded me, if I'm reminding anyone out there, you know, is that who's a mom or a dad or a child care, someone who takes care of someone, little person, that's a part of it too. That's a part of the gift to them, is them seeing you reach for your goals and work hard and be a boss. So they learn to be little bosses too.
Kelly just had a baby not long ago, right? I think, right?
Wait, really?
Did
Wait, oh,
she?
Kelly. You said Kelly.
Kelly, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, oh no.
I thought you said Ellie, and I was like, who's Ellie?
Did
No,
I forget something? Yeah.
Kelly. Yeah.
And season 18 of Grace just started. Oh my God. That's crazy.
Ooh. Yeah,
Um,
she's. Yeah, I have so much respect for her. I think she's an extraordinary actress, human. Yeah, I'm blessed to have her in my life.
yeah, I work at an elementary school and it's cool seeing all the little kids, like them growing up over the years, and like hopefully they have those role models at home, or and they
Yeah.
can come to school and get them. So
Mhm.
yeah, I love
You know.
it.
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
And then when you started going to Fordham University and Tisch and all that, did you, or for Fordham, did you know that you wanted to be an actress right away, or?
Yeah, I did. It was odd because so I started in high school, and so that's when I started performing. And then from high school, once I realized that, I had mentors there who said, you have something here. And as I said, my family was supportive. So then I applied to Fordham for their, like, they have the theater minor and they have the major. And I just went for it. I went for their most intense program.
Oh my
Yeah. And I got in. But then I was like, okay, then I need more experience because I'm just that kind of person. I like to, I don't want to step in and be like steps behind.
yeah.
So I spent the summer, I found the Ujamaa Black Theater Company, and they were doing great work in New York. And Titus Walker, I think, was the artistic director, or he was, yeah. Shout out to Titus Walker. I don't know where he is now, but he was kind enough to just welcome me into the company. And I spent the summer, it was wonderful, doing plays about the African American experience, which was also very specifically very important because then, in grad school, they tell you, they give you the whole canon, which is fantastic. But oftentimes it leaves out many of our amazing, we don't get as many opportunities to actually play roles that we will play once we are in the professional world. So it was actually a great experience. And then I feel like then I went to college and I was like, all right, let's go. They're like, I didn't want it to be so foreign, like stepping on a stage and, working on a part of the crew, all those things, amazing things you get to do when you're a student, hanging lights and getting screw guns. I used to love a screw gun. The power of a screw gun, Niles.
On that.
So yes, I went in and I trained there. And then after undergrad, I took a year off because I was cast on a soap opera on Guiding Light. That was funny.
Oh.
I think I was an extra. And then I think I got like under 5 lines. So that was fun. And I was like, and then they called me in for a role that I didn't get. But I was like, I had a good rhythm going. So I was like, oh, I'm ready. And then everything stopped, and I'm so like, wet behind the ears. I was like, oh, clearly now my career is going to take off, And it was just like, wait, what happened? Why did everyone forget about me? And then I said, oh, okay, there's the ups and downs of this business. So I wanted longevity. And that's what made me decide to say, I said, you know what, I haven't been in this business long enough where I feel truly confident in any arena to be able to pull out of the toolbox. And I didn't want to find myself down the line with a job in front of me that I couldn't pull a tool out and really do. I wanted to be able to say, whatever comes in front of me, since so many ups and downs, I want to be able to execute. And so I said, since there's a lull right now, let me go to grad school. And so that's when I went to NYU. And I don't regret it because I do feel like I have a really great toolbox, and I don't feel that like, ooh, what? How do I handle that?
Have the power drill, but don't have any other tools in the
bar.
Is it ever, or like, audition like for these roles, and is it ever like straining when you never hear back from them, or like
It was in the beginning. I mean, 100%. I mean, because you're young. I mean, you're in your what are you, 20s? I guess teens and 20s, but 20s probably by the time you graduate. And it was definitely jarring to just be like, oh my God, like you're not even gonna call and say, like,
can't even call me.
like just nothing, I just nothing. And that
Ghosting me.
everyone takes that curve. Like I've spoken to a bunch of my actor friends early on too about this, where when you're young, you tell your family about every opportunity because you're super excited. So you're like, oh my God, I have this audition for like whatever, like the dog play, whatever, the latest thing that's hitting Broadway. And then nothing happens, and you realize like, oh, every time I tell them, I then have to go back and tell them I didn't get it.
Just like, okay.
We learn very quickly. And then family, and most family and friends, they're super excited. So then it's hard because then you're navigating their emotions because they're like, well, did you get it? Did you get it? And so I realized very quickly that it's better to just keep it to yourself. And when something kind of gets some legs under its feet, that's when you can share. But until then, this way I could navigate my emotions. And so now you get used to it. And now like I'll read things and I'll audition for things. And, of course, Pat knows. But other than that, I keep it close to my chest until something is really manifesting and we're in phases of like, okay, we're about to, sign the deal.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Shoot it. Exactly.
I feel like that, yeah, like telling someone else would just add another layer of pressure, and because they're like more excited than you probably for the role. And
bless their heart. They always work. And then they're even more devastated. They're like, you didn't get it? My God. And I'm just like, listen, I'm trying to move on. I have like an audition, another one tomorrow. You know what I mean? So you can't let it take.
Go pound on the door of the studio like for you.
Right. Like, please don't go curse them out. Please don't.
One of your recent roles I was excited to see you in was Star Trek Picard, because it's such a a completely different like show than your other ones. And I haven't got caught up on Picard yet, but I've been like obsessed with Discovery, so I'm excited to get to that. And was it like different, or was it?
He's wonderful. I mean, just working with Patrick Stewart is like Sir Patrick Stewart. Right. He's truly, you realize you're like, oh, this is why you're such a gem. This is why you're beloved. This is why you've been around forever. This is why you can like do sonnets on Instagram and everyone will like just sit there and listen to you read a sonnet,
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
It's just like, but he's lovely. He just embraced me and was super kind. And also just he's such an extraordinary actor. Like he has that same quality that Viola has, this ability to just kind of fall in and like all the greats and, make it truthful, make it honest and make it human and make it natural, own the text. And we had so much fun. And it felt like theater. It totally felt like theater because I was in because I was like, had the ears and the eyebrows and it was super fun because I felt like I was in like this in the theater, like, and the language is elevated because we spoke a specific language, of the community of people, the Kuwait Malat. So it just felt like theater. And I had to, work with the dialect coach on really mastering that language. And it was like, what was it? Oh, of course, now I forgot it. Oh my goodness. But it was just so much fun to like wrap your tongue around a new dialect and communicate in that way. It's a wonderful little fantasy world. I loved it.
Was it ever hard, or like the dialect coach, or was there ever parts where?
Oh, totally. Yeah. It was hard and it was easy. Easy in the sense that it's a pretty new dialect for the show. Like I guess for the whole, the world. I know people probably be like, well, it actually has its roots. The fans out there, especially
40 seasons ago.
Exactly. Probably know way more than I do. But specifically for this group of nuns, the language was pretty new. So it was rooted in a previous language. So there were certain things that they wanted me to get. Like these were the words that were already established in the world,
To hit those, yeah.
I had to really get and make sure that I said it. Everything else, I was really the first to say. So the words, the words around it, the dialect, the context, I was, he really was saying, just own it in your mouth and how you say it. And I was setting the tone for whatever the future was for that group of nuns. So that was fun because I got to just play.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
But also speak Spanish. So when it's like learning another language, So that's fun because then it's another part of, my brain is used to translating and wrapping my tongue, blah, blah, blah,
Castillo.
Right, Castillo.
We'll get to that. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure we will.
I kind of wanted to go through your other roles real quick. Queen Sugar was most recently probably right? Yeah.
Yes.
2 episodes, I think, right? Yeah.
I got something in there for this.
Oh.
I don't say when, but I got something for this season, which was wonderful. And that's a great family too. I loved working on that, and another strong, powerful woman to contend with Charlie.
That's so cool. And SVU was a while ago, but I'm obsessed with SVU. And
I mean, Mariska is insane. I mean, she's insane as a person, everything she does in the world. But yeah, she's just another. I mean, it was just an honor to play with her and to really talk about, she doesn't know she's a mentor, but just watching her work, and she's such on that set, the way she kind of navigated. She could fall in and then go, because those scenes are so quick. They're these little super intense moments. The focus you have to have, Niles, to be able to drop in and then drop out and then go to the next scene. And the way she was moving through that day, I was super impressed. I was like, wow. Because there's no time to doubt. There's all that stuff that, you can do as an actor. There's just no room for it. There's no time for it. You just have to believe, you have to fall in, and you have to know how important, her ability to realize how important these stories were and are. It was beautiful to see. She just turned that right on and was like, oh no, I'm fully aware of the story that I'm telling and these women I'm representing, and yeah, she's brilliant.
I always hope when I visit New York that I'll run into SVU filming or something.
Chris Meloni films around here all the time. Oh, man. So with the new show, so yeah, they're all walking around.
Just a normal day.
Right, just a normal day.
And then probably your other most iconic role from other than Tegan was Ernestine from Underground.
Yeah, that's how I met Chris Meloni.
Yeah. And then I was wondering, how did you feel with that role?
Right,
being such it kind of caught on with Ernestine.
Yeah, I loved. I mean, that role was super special. I mean, it's my first. Honestly, Misha and Joe Pekaski, they are the creators. Misha Green, who now is doing extraordinary things, and so is Joe, of course. Love you, Joe. They're both doing amazing things. But they gave me my start, really, because I was still doing theater. I had been cast in a Bob Marley musical that was wonderful, and they were gracious enough to release me so I could do, Underground, which was fantastic. Because everyone understood. They were like, oh, you never want to leave your community of theater family, as I look down, because it's just special. It's such a special community, and you do it for the passion. You don't get paid nearly as much as you do for TV and film. So, that was with a heavy heart. I had to leave them. But they all understood, that it was the beginning of a potential great opportunity. And it turned out to be an extraordinary opportunity because Misha and Joe are divine writers. And the way they tackled antebellum South and the empowerment that they gave to the enslaved people, and just the license that we had to just really, just that side of the story told by them, and not being just completely victimized and kind of going along and acquiescing to the suffering and the inhumanity of it all, but rebelling and just we got actually an inside scoop into the world through their eyes, and that was super empowering and super difficult and very, very challenging at times, but it was a joy to work on. Yeah. And started my career.
Right. Always the important one. Right. Mm-hmm. That's the first script on your DIY wall.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Even though I don't know if I want those lines on my wall.
Oh,
I
let me
guess
just.
there might be some positive. Yeah, there's some good scenes. Well, not there. There's some. There are a lot. Yeah, I can find something. I was
Just.
thinking more from How to Get Away though. There's one from the scene with Viola at the end when he's
Oh,
like when they're like trying to figure out whether or not she's gonna get the death penalty.
oh my, yes. I'm glad I met you. Oh my God.
That's probably my favorite scene. Yeah.
That death penalty. Oof. I would have went through the screen if they gave her the death.
Yes, I know. But that scene was extra special to me because I had learned from Viola because there were lots of moments that she wanted to kind of do her version and write it up and for that scene I remember having some thoughts on what I would say to her, you know. And of course with our writers being so fantastic, rarely did I ever raise my hand and say I want to change something. But for this one in particular, I'd already built a relationship with the writers and I really felt passionately. And of course, so I write this whole, as if I'm August Wilson, I'm like, and then, and it was really funny. It was like long, but they loved it. They loved the idea because then from there, I asked them, I was like, guys, it's super long. I'm not at all, please realize that I'm not sending this with any thought that you're going to take this whole thing. But between that and conversations, literally, I think they took maybe 1 to 2 lines, which it's TV. So that's a lot when you think about monologue for a television. And then they took out the one line that I was like having problems with, and they kept everything else that they wrote, which was, of course, was brilliant. And it was a beautiful marriage, and it landed in such a lovely place. And at the end of the day, all I was going for, which we got to, which I just felt like that whole moment was really honoring who Annalise Keating was in that moment, and also this duplicity of also honoring Viola. Not that I was doing that. I mean, in the moment, I'm there as Tegan and Annalise. I mean, and that's all you can play. I wasn't there as Amirah, but you couldn't deny that it was the ending of this beautiful journey for her, for this series that me starting off as a fan and then coming on the show and being a part of it, like you couldn't deny that we're also ending a series, and we're saying thank you not only to the character, but to the actress and what she's done for so many people. And so I wanted to make sure that it wasn't anything that it was removed of any kind of competitiveness or like that's not what the moment was. It was about this woman, Tegan Price, supporting her friend and saying, this is how I choose to love you, whether we can be together or not. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, I am truly in awe of you. And even if I don't get you, you need to know who you are, what you mean to all of us, and that you're not alone, And it was just so important to me. And I remember, reading once, we did, once the final script came in and being so in love with what they had decided on. And we did the read through that you do so that the crew, and very often, like they see every scene every day, and it was such a beautiful stillness for that scene in rehearsal, and afterwards it was just one of those special, it was like a theater moment where everyone's kind of like, wow, that was special. Like we didn't even capture that. That wasn't like, it wasn't filmed. It was just for them to put the marks on the floor, but everyone was just like, oh, we're kind of like loving on our main character. This is like it was a special, it's like a first read of a play when everyone goes, wow, no audience is here to see it, but the whole company is there and go, wow, we're doing something special here.
To witness that, yeah.
Very nice.
Then she puts her, oh my,
I know, which is, that's the beauty of her being, what the great actresses and actors can do, which is that's not scripted, but you're just so vulnerable to a moment that you're just present to it. And she's always very present. So whether that means a powerful moment or the power and vulnerability, because there's so much power there, and her understanding of that, and to give that power to me and say, you know what, you're holding me up right now. I don't have to be Annalise Keating in this moment. It's beautiful. Yeah.
One of the I had that.
See now, this is not fun. Look at me,
and the call. I did have that on one of my notes to talk about that scene, and I'm glad you brought it up earlier because I was, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's captured on forever now. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love this. Oh, I love it so much. It meant so much to me because
Mm.
she also means so much to me. So it was also an honor to say that to her. And because we don't say it to each other enough, especially I think in life, actually. I'm not even gonna say it like in this world, like in life. Sometimes we get so go, 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 try to pursue your career, try to, get this going, try to deal. And sometimes it's important to stop and tell people like what they mean to you and what they've done has really impacted you. Let people know, like, because if we're not impacting people in a positive way, then it's just,
what are we doing?
the why.
Yeah.
Right? I think that goes back to those questions, the why. If you don't have a strong why, and those are strong whys, and to hear that sometimes is motivating.
Time gets away from you. Yeah, you gotta remember.
Yeah.
Keep. I did wanna. You said you were a fan before of the show before you auditioned, so I was wondering what it was like joining 4 seasons into the show, and was it like difficult coming in to like such a strong built like family cast? Like,
No, it wasn't difficult. It wasn't difficult because the cast was lovely. I mean, the embrace, and they didn't have to be that way. It's you have so many different personalities. It could have just been that I went into something that was cold, and I didn't go into anything cold. I didn't go into anything that was. I mean, they were completely the opposite of cold. Like they could have been neutral, and they weren't even neutral. They were just like, "Welcome. We're so happy to play with you," and that was the loveliest welcome. And so it wasn't difficult. It was just like, okay, I wanted to, any difficulty I put on was me putting, it was self-imposed to say, I want to make sure that I just add, how can I add to something that's already working? You don't want to put a wrench in the moving machine that's chugging along so beautifully. So it was just like, okay, let me just make sure I come prepared and I do my homework and I really know why I'm here. And that's my only job, is really to not get caught up in the fandom of it, but to actually lock into the seriousness of, like, classic acting. What do I want? What am I here for? What could possibly be my challenges? And, and that's honestly, that's all I could do. What was difficult was the first time I had to face Miss Viola Davis.
Oh my God.
Because they had me be so sassy to her, And so I will admit, like, let's be real. The first time I had to go, I think one of the first sassy moments, was when I had to walk up to her and I said, "You look tired, girl."
Oh.
Rest. And like, I remember when we rehearsed it, and I was like, I said it, and then in my head, I was like, "Oh my God!"
Can't say that.
And I just kept calling like Pat and stuff, and I was just like, do they realize, like, you're having me not only be sassy to Annalise Keating, but like my mentor, like Viola Davis, I have to like give all this attitude to. So, there were definitely those moments where you're like, in one sense, I'm acting, I look totally in control, but like internally I'm screaming,
running back and forth.
I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous how they have me like facing off with this legendary woman. But then,
right.
Right. And but then you focus, as one of Miss Ernestine from Underground says, you focus on the work, and that really does help. I knew I had a job to do, so I would just get lost in like, okay, I can't focus on Viola, because if I focus on Viola, I'm not gonna get this done.
And Viola's probably ready for you to.
Oh, listen. She's always ready, and willing to receive the fire. She wouldn't have wanted anything less. So I was like, I got to do my job,
And how was Tegan described from the beginning when you first auditioned, or
I think I remember her described. I mean, she was just described as like powerful partner in a company. It was like very like those generic descriptions. I mean, the way I came to really love Pete's creativity and his creative process was very organic. So it was very much of like, I have this idea, let's see how it unfolds, let's see what you bring to it as well. And he would have meetings even before, the new season would begin with each of us, which was really nice, where we could ask questions or talk about stuff. And as he got to know me, I think he got to know the character. And then, so it was a beautiful dance of like things that he wanted to happen that I would make happen, and then things that I naturally brought or that he learned about me through these conversations and said, "Oh, I want to put that in there." I want to bring a little bit more of you in. So, but she was just, strong woman, and it was fun to watch her evolve into the complex woman that she was. Yeah, it was great.
And then I have a fan question. I was like gonna sprinkle some fan questions in throughout. From my best friend Sarah, she wants to know what it was like playing a strong lesbian Black woman on network TV.
It's an honor, because when you think about that, they're not many. I don't think there are many examples of that on television. I mean, I don't know any number to count, so I'm not gonna do that. I know there aren't many. I mean, even now when we think about it, I'm like,
one
strong
hand probably. Right.
Yeah, so definitely one hand. Yeah. So I think that's so important, to have that visibility, to make people feel normal, to allow them to be able to turn on the TV and say, oh yeah, like, why is that a big deal? That it shouldn't be a big deal, but we know the world we live in. And so I think it's great to be a part of anything that normalizes the beauty of all of the different people who we see in every day. And more, it'd be nice to be on the TV and be like, oh yeah, that actually does reflect the world, as opposed to one population of the world. So that was an honor. And I feel like so many people, since then have reached out, and have reached out to say, oh my God, it's so inspiring. And they're either lesbians or bi or whatever their sexual orientation is, but them feeling like there was a piece of them that was reflected in this character, and or part of them reflected in the character, and how inspired they were because she was powerful, and it wasn't about her sexuality. Thank God, and I think that's so good to give people, because that visual, once again, it's like that stop to be grateful, right? To give people their flowers. It's also like sometimes we do need to see it. It's everything we're talking about, even with your children, right? The seeing for Nyla. It's like, yeah, we can do things. We can talk about, pursue your goals and go after your dreams. But, for my craft, it's reflecting life. And I always tell, like, even Pat will watch something and say, well, I'm not an actor. And I'm like, what I do is not for actors. You know what I mean? What we do is for you guys, for people who don't study the craft. If you don't see the humanity, if you don't feel seen, if you're not moved, if you're not, if you're not upset, if you're not wanting to talk about it, if you're not inspired, then we didn't do our job. It's not for a bunch of actors to sit around and go, oh my God, Amirah, that was such a great acting choice you made. And that, you know what I mean? Like, that's not why we do it. So I always welcome when people have their opinions that are people who aren't in the field. So just knowing that so many women in particular were inspired and motivated and walked a little taller, whether they tried the costumes on, or I got a lot of like, oh man, I'm doing my Tegan look today. But the Tegan look represented power. The Tegan, was like you walking in the room. So if you are in one of those marginalized communities who you don't feel seen, but now you're walking a little more powerful, a little stronger, a little bolder, and a little bit more feeling like, what, I'm gonna set the tone for how you see me, as opposed to letting you set the tone for how I feel about myself. Bravo. I'm proud to be a part of that.
A damn unicorn, like Tegan said.
I'm a damn unicorn. That's right.
Oh, I love that. And then when you started saying Castillo, did you know it was going to be such a phenomenon with
I did not. One of the fan pages made this great. Have you seen it, Dallas? I don't know if you've seen it. I might have to DM you it. But one of the fans made, it's something like, I think I saw it on YouTube, and it's like Tegan Price saying, or Amirah Vann saying Castillo. And it has literally clipped together all of them, and it's hilarious. I was like, first of all, the fans you guys are hilarious. I mean, the fans are fabulous. And we watch them, just so you know, too. I'm like letting them know. We actually see the footage. It's actually fantastic. But I didn't know. I was just like, I just remember reading the script, and I was like, that's how I would say it. So and then I was like listening to other people, and I was like, oh, everyone doesn't say it like that. but once you kind of establish it, I was like, well, I'm going to be consistent. That's the way he says it. So I said it like that every time. But I did not know that it would be so much fun to a little color, a little flavor on the scenes.
I
So that
actually I actually had a little trivia question for you.
was,
Um, how many times do you think you said Castillo?
oh,
I have multiple choice if you want to go down
multiple
to
choice. Okay, good. Put me at least in the world, right?
Okay, we have A 33 times, B 17 times, or C 21 times.
33.
What was you say?
33. B.
33? 21.
21. That's it?
Yeah, I thought it was more too.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought it was more than 33. Okay. Oh, very good. Very good. Good to know.
Take a
Good.
shot every time.
In pop rehearsals, it's way more than 20 something.
Oh my god. Iconic. Oh man. And another fan question from Buddy. He wanted to know did you expect Tegan to be so adored and loved by the fans
Oh,
straight away from
that's a great question, buddy. And no, I didn't. And Pete Nowak, our creator, didn't know either. And what was great is I remember having the meeting and we were trying to figure out if the character was going to be someone who was going to be like pitted against Annalise Keating, or if they were going to be, and it was like a constant conversation. Like, are we going to put these? That's what you remember every episode. We're like, wait a minute, don't have them. I want them together. Don't have them fight.
right.
But that was something that really was lovely. And I think Pete, that's once again being someone who is, he's very much feeling the climate in his creative process. He just really, and I don't know if he always works like that. I can't speak for him because I do feel like there are certain things I'm sure that every creator is like, this is what I want. You know what I mean? And they're very clear on. But the beauty of this role, maybe because I was a guest star person and a series regular, and I came into this world, is it was kind of like the fans also got to choose their adventure. Like they got, what I mean? Because the fans were such a huge element of this show that it was kind of like, how do we want to end this entire series? And I think very much we felt that, why not let it, like we weren't sure. We kept saying, that's why I think he kept teetering and pushing it where it was like, wait, can we trust Tegan? Like, it was always this.
The whole Simon thing.
Right. And I think at the end of the day, we landed in the place where we said, you know what, we're going to really listen to the fans and what is needed right now in the world. Because what we do, once again, is a reflection of the world. And I think, and that's something that I think this show does greatly in so many ways by the representation of in so many different ways of, sexuality and blah, 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 and power and economic disparities and so many things that represent the show. It's like, it blows your mind. But I think we realized the importance of these two women supporting each other and how important that actually was for a visual. And so we were like, it could be dramatic to piss everybody off and make them like, but it was actually more interesting this time to actually just see these two women have this love affair. And I love that you never see them have a love affair, so you see it in this different way of just pure friendship and just the beautiful parts of love that are uncomplicated and haven't been messed up by sex and, like just pure, it's just pure admiration and continuing to let that evolve because that's all they had. And that was really beautiful. I'm glad he did that.
And the salsa dancing at the Dominicano.
Which was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
And when you found out you were going to be a series regular at the start of season 5, what was your reaction with that?
Oh, that was a thrill. I mean, I loved being on set. I loved creating in that way of really not knowing what was next. So it was really great. It was just it's an honor to kind of get a promotion and join the fabric of the family, and it was a real it just made me feel like you belong here, and that was a beautiful feeling after really trying to find my way and really hope that I was adding value. And so that was a really nice way to say, yeah, and we love the value you're adding. Come join us. That's a great feeling.
And then
And
Another.
I love because they're all amazing. So like, I was like, I get to play with Nate
Oh my God,
and,
Nate.
and you know, I mean, all of like, you know, I get to play with Conrad and
Why
just
is that?
every Bonnie. I love Bonnie
I
so
miss
much.
it.
So I had, you know, I had my own little private obsession moments that I was like, you know, I was dying for scenes with her. So I was really glad that we got that.
And then another kind of iconic thing with Tegan was all her outfits she wore. Did you have a favorite
Oh my
um
God.
outfit?
Favorite out of those clothes? Um, I don't know that I had a favorite. Oh, sorry, it just fit. See, this is how much I was salivating.
The outfit.
Right, literally salivating over the clothes. But no, but I think it just allowed me my appreciation for power suits and like, I mean, Lynn Paolo, our costume designer, is extraordinary. I mean, she designed for Scandal. So, I mean, just the way they were able to I mean, the way she tied a belt, you know, it's like, oh my God, she blew my whole mind, you know, and you know, a woman's love for shoes.
Oh my
So,
God.
I mean, that was just fun. That was like a playground of like feel powerful, sexy, and yeah, I don't a favorite though. Oh,
It's
yeah,
hard.
I don't know, but I do love a good pencil skirt mid calf. It has to pass the knee. You know, we had a few at the knee. I'm not a knee girl. I like past the knee. I like to give that nice little long line. So yeah, I love that. I love
Kaplan and gold requirement.
that. Pass the knee, please. Mid calf all day.
And another fan question from Jay. He wants to know if you borrowed anything or any other outfits after the show ended.
No, yeah, no.
Internet's going out.
No, yeah, no. It was, yeah, yep. There's a few things that might be in my closet right now. Yeah, nice,
Might.
definitely. Might. Once you realize like the series is ending and it's probably gonna go, you know, just in like some storage closet, I was
Just
like,
sit
oh,
there.
that's just sad. Let's not do that to the clothes. Make them be sitting in a closet all sad and alone.
Dusty. Ugh.
It wants to be with me.
My former
This will be honoring the clothing. No, they
I
were
would have.
very nice to us. Yes.
I would have took everything. And then I kind of wanted to ask about Tegan's first involvement kind of in one of the mysteries with season 4 with the whole Kaplan and Gold party. What was it like filming that, and like specifically with Asia coming up in the elevator and covered in blood and just
Well,
hysterical? And
once again, it was such a great. I mean, Asia's such a great. She's a good friend of mine, also. But also, like, I'm not even saying that because she's a great friend. But their skill level. I mean, the things that I learned, because at that point, I mean, you know, it's still my second, and it was so different than Underground, because you know, Underground being a period piece, you know, you're down south, you're in Savannah, you know, it's such a different world. That this was really my first time in this kind of a world, you know. So seeing their ability to like Asia coming up the stairs and then being like, ah! You know what I mean? And like screaming or like bawling like on the spot and turning that on and just kind of that emotional malleability. I mean, it was just actually great. It was a great learning lesson, to be honest. I know that's not what people think in terms of what, you know, in terms of how was that for me, but that's what I was doing. I was just sitting there as a sponge and saying, well, look at these amazing actors. And in this realm of like network television, fast moving, and their ability to just kind of fall right into it. Like it moves so quickly, you know, network television. And so I was just like, oh, wow, that's how that's done. And that's how that's done well. You know, where you go, oh shit, we were just laughing together. And now she's like bawling her eyes out.
looking
You
like
know?
Carrie, right?
Like, oh. So that's what I was doing, actually. I was actually learning. Yeah.
And then that kind of like changed the whole dynamic between Tegan and Michaela with the whole Antares thing and lying to her. Was it hard like having that shift with Asia and like kind of being mean to her and like
right, I know, right? No. We know it's work. So that's cool. But it was just like storyline wise, it was kind of unbelievable. I think Tegan was definitely her. Like this idea of she really wanted a tribe. And I think it's the same reason why it actually was an honor to play that role, is because real women in this world who are of, the LGBTQIA community, don't, you're looking around for your tribe. You're looking for allies. You're looking for people who you can go to coffee with, who you can just trust. Like, let's be real. There's a spectrum of like needing great change and accountability and representation. And then there's also just the humanity of like, is there someone I can talk to who's gonna, just accept me for who I am, And I think she was really looking for that. And she thought she found that with Asia's character. And I think that's the thing that hurt the most, was just feeling, and that's what then subsequently, right, when she was upset with Annalise, because when Annalise didn't trust her, and she was like, oh my God, woman, like, how much do I have to do
to prove to
you that, like, I actually am an ally, And so I think that was very difficult. She felt very, character-wise, I think Tegan felt very betrayed and very alone, and like, oh, this is not a sister moment we're having. Like, at the end of the day, you're just another person here, and these bonds that you have with your coworkers is bigger than what I'm trying to have here with you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that, that was, I think that was hurtful. And but also something that she also was used to. Like, Tegan Price she's no slouch. So it's not like she's new to the world. She was a partner. So she's been alone many times on her way up. So I think it was familiar, but I think she was hoping that it could be something else.
I always remember the scene with when Michaela's leaving and Tegan stops the elevator and she's like, you're not as good of as a liar, or as you think you are. Yeah, like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Tegan's just like, your expression, and oh my God. Yeah. And then at the end of season 4, when you're finally siding with Annalise and the Jane Doe and writing on the note, and that was exciting. Finally, like, for the audience, like yes.
And technically, that was very fun trying to figure out, when do I need to write that as I'm speaking this dialogue to be able to pick it up and see I'm in. The amount of times I did that, Niles, is actually hilarious. The amount of times I was like, nope, finish the monologue. Wait, nope, too soon, and now I still have a whole thing to say.
Right, because then they don't
exact. Because that's one thing with this show that I love. Like, Tegan was so precise. I was actually viciously aggressive about the specificity of everything that she did, which was fun. And I think that was specific to this character. Like, she would be one who would talk, know exactly when to write what she needed to do and show it. You know what I mean? Like, it was a dance. And I was like, there's no fumbling with her. It just didn't seem like that wasn't Tegan. She doesn't like write and then go, you know what I mean? Like that's another great character, but that's not her. Like, she's gonna know exactly, and then boom, everything is very sharp edges and ordered, and
I want to see a blooper reel of that.
Yeah, the blooper reels. Yeah, right. We had blooper reels at rap parties, which I know you would have loved. Blooper reels were, oh man, those are great, because it's such, it's so intense and sassy, and then it's just like, then you like crack up in the middle of it, right? Or me trying to walk and be, the funniest thing is like walking in these heels and it's like strap, trip, and fall. And then I start laughing, and then you're like, okay, go back. And all you guys see is like me being fierce. But it's like, yeah, well, there was like 5 trips.
Right, and then you watch the final cut and you're like, oh, that.
Right, I'm like, it looks so graceful. I look so graceful. Thank you so much, editors.
And then when Conrad was my first guest, he told me like a really cool story. When they filmed the Kaplan and Gold, when Oliver goes down in the elevator, he told me like once he's in the elevator and he's like talking to himself, they're like changing the entire set from the party set to the Simon, like the crime scene. Like, is there any cool behind the scenes memories you have, like kind of like that?
I think, let me see. Cool behind the scenes like that. I mean, I just love seeing when we actually filmed outside, but like on the grounds of on the stages, because we used like the parking structure was at Sunset Gower Studios.
Okay.
So, like, just seeing it reworked for like for How to Get Away, and then seeing it on TV, and I was like, that's literally our parking lot.
There's my car, my real car.
Right. I know, exactly. So like that's fun because then you walk into work and you're like, oh, we literally filmed right there because it's not it's not a stage.
I yelled at Nate here or something.
And then all the blood and gore, like that's always fun to see because special effects is such a great department. So I always love that. Like, in between takes and they come, it's like more blood and more, and like gushing out of your arm and like trying to figure out where the splatter would lie if this happened in real life, and it's just like, okay, great. All over Carla. More splatter.
Oh God, Carla.
Right.
Were you ever hoping Tegan would have a bloody murder moment, or were you happy?
I mean, it's always fun to play a bad guy. So, part of me was like, when we were trying to figure out if I was going to be a bad guy, I was like, it could be fun if I kill someone. Like, well, not
what would I use? Right.
Right. I was just trying to figure out, I was like, who would Tegan want to take out?
She did be threatening Nate when Nate was coming after her with Cora, and
right,
you'll be ending up like your dad if you don't stop this.
Like, I'm just like, that was kind of a stretch because I'm just like, okay, Nate, and then Tegan, powerful in her own way, but let's forget how little I am compared to Nate.
Everyone is smaller than
everyone, right? Oh, I know there would definitely have to be like drugs involved in some way to bring that big man down.
That would have been an hour and a half episode trying to get Nate down.
Right, and it's kind of dragged him somewhere. That would have just been comedy. If How to Get Away became a comedy.
Oh man, I kind of wanted to ask you, working with Timothy Hutton at the start in season 5. What was that? I love Tim Hutton. That was my buddy. Oh my God, no, that was my buddy. We had so much fun. I don't know what it was, but I was like, I can't wait to work with him again. We actually, honestly, we were like, oh my God, we might need to do a comedy together. There was something about our dynamic that was so playful and fun. And we just got along very well. I mean, and I respect his work, of course. He's been around for so long and he's super talented. And he was super kind to me. But it was just this thing of like, we would focus in and we would lock in and do the scene, but then some spark of like our fun, playful dynamic that we just really respected and just enjoyed working together would just jump out of the scene. And we just couldn't help it. It always happened. So I love it. I feel like in every scene, that's why it became that. And once again, the show did a beautiful job of kind of seeing what was naturally happening between two actors and saying, instead of fighting against it, let's use it. So that's why you get the scene where I'm just like, we're talking and we're professional and we're like, okay, we got to do this and we got to protect, Annalise. And then I'm like, but she's single. You know what I mean? And then you get that little, and he's just like, well, that you're excited about that, right? And he has a good deadpan comedy. So he's just, like, well, that's you. And I'm like, wait. What do you do?
That one, So, but that was us. That was our dynamic when we met. And it was a joy to play with him because he came to set like that. And that's the way I always came to set, always a lot of energy. And so it made going to work a lot of fun.
I was sad when.
Oh, you hear that? Oh, sad. Yeah, I might have to wrap soon now.
All right, yeah, of course.
Oh, she's tired. There, see, there's Daddy Pat. Now says hello. He's putting the baby down. See, this is a part of the life.
One thing I did want to ask is to make sure to ask was working with Cicely Tyson. If you wanted to talk or anything.
No, yeah, of course. I mean, have to mention her. It was such an honor to meet her.
I always remember the picture, like the behind the scenes picture of you when she's sitting and you're like on your knees and talking to her, and I always remember that picture. Like, I love that picture.
I mean, that was the whole dynamic. Like, I remember meeting her outside of her trailer, and she just exudes excellence. She's like grandma. She's like like grandma. And I just remember her saying, I just grabbed her arm and escorted her to the hair and makeup trailer. Like in that, what is it, like, 10 feet, she's just saying wisdom and saying and positing, like, you know, just to have faith and the beauty of now and being able to be supportive. And, you know, because she came up in such a specific era that was super challenging for women of color to be able to have a presence in this field and do what they love and be recognized for their talent. And I think one of the things she shared was that the beauty of right now and really being able to see the space for so many different women to be celebrated for their work, and that we could support each other, and that no one was real, you know, we didn't have to be pitted against each other, you know, not only in a scene, but just in the world of creating and as artists, that we could really, she was like, I feel that support and I feel that you're allowed to have that. And she wasn't necessarily allowed to have that when she was coming up as an extraordinary artist. So it made me really value that. And just to be around her presence and see her focus. And she was sharp as a whip, man, you know, and those scenes and the heart and soul she brought to it. Every time she walked on set, it was like, everyone was like still and very respectful, knowing that we were in the presence of greatness, which was wonderful. And she would lock in and be right there, completely in character. And it was, I'm just honored that I was really able to be in the presence of her and her greatness and her love and her warmth and her discipline. And she was disciplined for her diet, disciplined for her craft. It was just great to see. Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm like halfway through her book and just the stuff that she lived through. And
yeah, my mom stole mine and read it. And so now I'm gonna read it next. Yeah.
And I'm happy she got to see the world, like, it's not the great, or not to what it can fully be yet, but I'm glad she got to see Viola and you and Asia and yeah. Thank you for telling. Thank you. And I just wanted to talk about the series finale episode, and then I'll let you go. But what was it like filming the whole series, the final episode, and the table read? And
that was so the table read. Oh my God, we were all in tears. I think we did it. We were like, you know, on IG, but we were in tears, and it was just, I mean, that was a hard one to say bye to. It was a hard one to say bye to. You just go, wow, this is a special group of people. Like, you know, it's rare when you look around a room and everyone's super talented. Like, you know, you have Viola Davis. Everyone knows how I feel about her. We all, you know, I mean, she is extraordinary. I mean, she just elevated that material. And her ability to make really heightened language sound commonplace and really rooted and truthful is an amazing skill, an extraordinary skill. But the beauty was she was surrounded by amazing talent, like the entire cast. And I can say that because I joined this family and I looked around and I was like, oh my God, I'm looking at Asia, I'm looking at Conrad, I'm looking at Jack. And I'm like, every single one of these actors are simply divine. Like, they are serious actors who respect the craft, who show up prepared, who put their heart and soul into it, and who bring a truth and an openness. And that's rare. You know, oftentimes you have like, you know, one or two that you're like, oh my God. And then it is what it is. And then, but rarely do you get to look around and go, wow, each and every one of these actors is inspiring as an artist.
Everyone had that, like, everyone had like a really powerful, like, Emmy,
and also
like,
getting to know them as friends outside of their acting. They really are all good people too. Like, I was like, I'm friends with all of them. You know, we don't always talk all the time. Like, Asia and I talk more, and, you know, and Viola, but there's certain people that I'm like, you know, I consider them friends. They're all like, and I'm just like, wow, that's so rare to be like, wow, I'm surrounded by an amazing, and to say goodbye to that. I mean, casting, shout out to casting, because, you know, she just knew what she was doing. And so, when you know, it's hard to say goodbye to that. That's a special room, you know, especially nowadays too, where, you know, I mean, it's controversial, but, you know, they're hiring for all kinds of reasons, for followings, and, you know, there's all kinds of reasons to cast people, and, you know, there's value. You know, I'll leave that to producers to decide. But for me, you know, who comes from the training and the background that I come from, I love to be inspired by people who truly, like, respect the craft and who work hard to really study it and know what they're doing and why they're doing it. And so it was beautiful to be around a bunch of people who really are like, this is what I do. I'd love to do it. And I love to tell stories, you know. It was really special. So it was hard. It was hard. Yeah.
And then Tegan telling Annalise that she thinks she's in love with her
Oh my God.
before the final verdict with what was filming that like.
That was great because it was like good to be like, oh my God, I finally get to say it. You know, and I think it needed to be said because, of course, she's such a power. Tegan Price she was such a strong, formidable character that she needed to be able to own that and say, I'm going to say it, whatever happens or doesn't happen. But she was fighting for it. She was like, I really think we can do this, and it was just it was hard to hear Annalise say that she just was like, no, that's not what this is. But I think it was a gift to Tegan's character because I think where Annalise had gotten to in her lifetime, she realized that she wasn't going to have really be able to come and show up with an offering to Tegan to love her the way that Tegan deserved to be loved. And I think Tegan didn't understand all the complexity of her journey and who she was, because Annalise wasn't necessarily an open book.
Right.
And I think it would have been something where if Annalise weren't as mature, she would have just been like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And it could have been potentially really hurtful and just, a lot of pain unnecessarily, but I think Annalise had already been there, done that. But she said, I can't hurt another person. Let me do some self-reflection, maybe do some self-love. And I think that was actually a real gift. That was the best way she could have said, I love you back to Tegan.
Right.
Was to say, I actually am at a place where I realize because I love you, I'm going to say no.
Girl.
I know, right?
Was the montage of Annalise holding all the different hands and stuff, did you ever film, was one of those hands Tegan's hand? Or?
Definitely one of those hands was supposed to be one of Tegan's. I actually didn't do a hand holding, but it was supposed to be like really. I think from what I understand was that it was supposed to be let the audience kind of realize that maybe they did have I think that was the beauty. It was kind of like,
choose your own adventure.
Yeah. I was about to say that. Yeah. It's like maybe just leave, and I love that it was like there. Maybe even for Pete, maybe he did have an answer to that question. But I think the best part of it is it's one of those, that's why they didn't show the faces, where you could say, oh, maybe they did have a little thing at the end of the day, they came together and they, and it didn't work, or maybe it was never Tegan's hand, that it was she just moved on and then she went on to have different relationships.
Yeah.
And that was just what it was, or what we got to see.
We saw them dancing, and so there's kind of like, yeah.
Which was nice, right? Where well, maybe they at minimum they had a friendship,
right?
Yeah.
And then I like how it was like open ended, because you could be like, oh, that looks like Tegan's hand, or maybe she got back together with Eve, or like just I like that.
But I think it's the beauty of the form of being a TV show, where it's like, oh, you know what, we don't have to wrap this up in a bow. It can really be, you guys are a part of it. So how do you want the story to end?
And then filming the courthouse, the steps with the shooting, how when Bonnie gets shot, and how does Viola do that? Like, how does that scene is just,
I mean, you see the close-up, as you should, of Viola, but that was hard for everyone that day to see, Bonnie on the floor like that. And I mean, and it wasn't fun. This is, it's a beloved character. That was, they talk about easy acting when you get to that point. It was just like, oh my God.
Everything, right?
That wasn't it's acting, so it wasn't like devastating, but it was easy to fall into the given circumstances for the day to be able to have to bring up that emotion. All of us were like, oh God, no, don't let that be. Yeah.
And a series finale, like I feel like the emotions are already on high. Right.
Saying goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hard. It was hard for all of us to be like, oh, we're truly saying goodbye to this character.
And then Tegan kind of helping Laurel out with getting rid of Jorge.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cut to your face looking like, I love that. Yeah, I'm happy Tegan was a part of Jorge's downfall.
Right. Yeah, me too. Because when they showed too many flashbacks of me and Jorge, I was like, no, I don't like that part of Tegan. That's not the real Tegan. Let's do a reveal. No.
And I feel like they sprinkled, or I feel like they left a lot of breadcrumbs for Tegan's backstory, and with the Jorge and Laurel getting kidnapped and the Mexico City Kaplan and Gold. And would you ever play Tegan again in like a spinoff or
Tegan again. Yeah.
period?
I love the character, and I do feel like there's so much
The
potential
plane.
for, like, and, Pat and I talk about it all the time. We're like, it would be great. And there's so many characters, like you can easily kind of bring back partnerships with other cast members too. And next thing I call Jack for something, or Connor. So there's a lot of potential there. Where we see Asia again.
Because like the whole plane crash with Tegan's family, or
right.
like
There's
there's
a
just
lot.
so much like
A lot of juicy stuff that, yeah. I would definitely do it again. Come on, Pete.
period. Call it. And then final question for you, and I'll let you enjoy your weekend with your family. What was your biggest takeaway playing Tegan for 3 years and
Yeah.
being on the show?
My biggest takeaway, my biggest takeaway is twofold, and it's opposite to the same coin, the opposite sides of the coin. And I learned it from Viola, which is like, when it is important, really, she dove in. The way I saw her dive in, I imagined the way she was day one. And the fact to see that, episodes later when the show's about to end, and she's equally as passionate about what is happening, the core, not getting lost in the glitz glamour or the show's doing well, but just the story, and just really getting to the heart of this woman. And like, she never got caught up in trying to do something that just really was not rooted in the truth of the moment or what this woman was going through, and making sure that it made sense with humanity. And I think that's something that I will always take with me, that my training taught me, but also seeing it in action from someone who I admire, always, because it's so easy, because the machine moves very quickly in this business, and it's a lot of celebrity in the business, and it's a lot of hair and makeup, and it's very easy to kind of get lost. And you have to be very disciplined and focused to say, I want to make sure it has to go back to humanity, our humanity. That's what makes people watch, because they go, wow, this is real. This makes sense. That's the nuances that we all see that we love. That's what I see when I watch TV that I love. It could be a funeral and then people start laughing because there's a nuance of reality, as opposed to an idea where you're just like, yeah, everybody's crying, but something about this seems false. Because someone actually didn't take the time to figure out, where it's like, yeah, but with this person, we might actually laugh about that, some part in there, interwoven between the tears. It's the beauty of creating character. And then the other side of it is, because it also moves quickly, that there are moments that you have to not be so intense about. And you just have to, sometimes you walk in, you scream, and it's like, girl, don't overthink it. Walk in and scream. You know what I mean? And that's the magic of what we do, advocate for when you need to, and let things go of the things that you don't have to. Mm-hmm. And and in terms of, as a woman of power, I think that's important to speak to. Is just like playing and walking in Tegan Price's shoes is, it made me stand taller. I truly mean that. You cannot play that role, I think, for 3 years and not change for the better. I think I was more powerful, and it just kind of made me stand taller, made me feel more confident, made me say, I want to be that woman. I want to be more like Tegan. I want to, I want to be a boss.
Say it.
A boss. And that was great to like learn from a character and just feel stronger and better. And anything that really makes people feel stronger and better, I'm game for. Yeah, and still be able to have fun and be silly. And she was all of that, and that was a great gift to me, and hopefully to the fans.
Yes. Okay. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Oh.
So much fun.
Yes. Thank you for coming on and your time and your friendship and it's been fun.
Great. Well, have fun with the other. I'm going to be watching.
Thank you. Yeah. I think next week I think is Matthew Cruz, another writer.
I love Matthew. Yeah, he's great.
When I made this board, the Operation Bonfire board, I sent him a picture and he actually sent me like a poster version of the one on the show, like a rolled up one, like, so I have it framed. And
oh, I love that.
I don't have any more wall space though, but it's downstairs.
It looks good. I love everything that's happening behind you.
Yes. I'm excited to talk to him.
With Matthew. Matthew's, yeah, he's a lot of fun and super smart, and one of the gifts, one of our gifts on that show.
Amen.
Yeah, wonderful.
Well, yeah.
Thank you to all the fans for watching and for showing love to us after this so much time has passed.
I miss it, girl.
I know, me too. You know, love. Special. Yeah.
I'll write that Tegan spinoff for you.
I love it. Listen, I'm ready. Call me. Let's do it.
That's like, I feel like when the show ended, like something like clicked inside me that I want to like create something like what Pete created for so many people. So I've been like trying to get into writing and learning all that stuff. So yeah.
I think that's wonderful. Especially, look, you write from the heart, and like you said, you keep learning about the craft of it. It's possible. I mean, and you're well versed in the history of it to be the person, the one to write it. So,
oh my God, no pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah, so that's what I'll be doing between podcasts.
Very good.
But yeah, I can't thank you enough for coming on and your friendship and everything. So.
Love it. Have fun. Give grandma a hug for me.
I will. I'll tell her you said hi. Oh my God.
And I will get back to baby Nyla.
Yes. I hope you have a good weekend. And
yes, you too.
Talk to you later.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.